some of you are aware of this, but I've been having to do worship online.
Cervantes!
You're so silly!
We are here at our new place we rent out. This is called the Stanley. What we do is we pop up church every Sunday. This church is called Grace Point Church. Being part of a big global movement is wonderful. Such global impact, but it's almost like too grandiose for the realness of life. And being part of this family church has been good for our little family clan, because we still go to church at Foreigner Church, which is IHOP's church family, but we go on Friday nights because that's when the staff gather. So on Sunday mornings, I lead worship at a local church. Because we're a pop-up church, we rent a building, and even though, you know, some churches, they're not able to have the congregants come during that time because of the social distancing guidelines, they were still able to use the building for, you know, doing the worship ministry and the preaching, even though they had an empty room or a very small room. So because we rent, we are not allowed to come, right? Because they were closed to business for us. So we were forced to figure it out, and we did everything from our homes. And I actually really enjoyed that part. There was something sweet about inviting people to, you know, my place of prayer in my home. I'll show you a little bit of how that looks. As soon as the crisis hit, we really kind of reduced our size, and it's basically just me, our keyboard player, my associate worship leader, Jeremy, and our drummer. And of course we use stems to fill it up, and because I cut my finger, we really depend on those stems. My setup is pretty big. So I got my iMac in the middle, which is my main workstation. I got my side over there, which is mostly my messaging apps and stuff like that, like iMessage, Slack. Over here, right now I have Logic, and I use other programs that are kind of secondary programs while I'm on my primary thing here. I put there, and you know, usually it's my notes app, things like that, my calendar. Up here I actually put some, you know, random things. So like if I'm on Zoom, I have all the screen share stuff up here. But it's really cool to have this setup, you know. It took me a lot of work to figure out how to do it, but because of the stay-at-home thing and the amount of work I gotta do, I needed something that was versatile. And so unfortunately I'm getting spoiled. Like, to work off of a laptop just seems impossible to me now. First of all, I gotta turn on my pedal board, because even though I'm not gonna play acoustic, I'm not gonna play my guitar, I am gonna use this guy. And the reason I am is because this gives a little reverb that goes directly in there, so I don't have to do all the effects later. I've been leading worship on Zoom, and it doesn't allow me to run all the processing stuff through, or at least I haven't figured it out. So that's what I've been doing. So I'm gonna go in here and go into our shared drives with the church I lead worship. And looks, they have the drums here. Of course, I got Jeremy's here. I'm going to download that. I'm gonna download the stems, which is this one. Now, what I'm gonna do is open up these WAV files and get them ready to record. The restrictions kind of softened a little bit, even though coronavirus is still a thing. I think people just got more comfortable with it and realized we can't shut down economy over a virus that's probably gonna come hit us again. Anyway, so we are still practicing social distancing, trying to be wise. We have limited usage of our space, meaning that, you know, there's a certain percentage that we can use of capacity. This whole idea of worship ministry has changed over time, and now that we're in 2020 and the coronavirus pandemic season, of course it's introduced all these questions about what it is and how it all works. And let me just say that it's been an interesting conversation. My main fear and concern is that I become this glorified karaoke singer, you know, for Christian people. Like, I don't want to do that. When we think of worship, we think about acknowledging who God is and who we are, and giving him the glory due his name. Here we have different contexts, we have lights and sound, and church music used to be the popular music of the time, and things have changed. And so it's almost like we're copycatting entertainers, and so it just begs a really difficult question related to what is our aim, what are we after. And leading worship in a local church has helped me to be more informed in what that means. I don't want to waste my life, my energy, my years and advancing something that's basically just glorified karaoke for Christians. I don't want that. I want to be able to touch the divine. I want to be able to, like Revelation chapter 4, surround God's presence with worship and adoration and spontaneous singing. I want to be about something bigger and greater than just standing on a platform and forming an Instagram following. You know, like that's not what I'm about. And this whole process of the coronavirus and having to lead worship online gave a new meaning to what it means to have community and what it means to gather as a people of God and encounter Him. My desire is that I would touch God in the place of singing, and that I might be an inspiration to others to touch God. Like if all I do is make people feel like, oh wow, that guy sings good, then I've failed. My voice is a gift from God to bring Him pleasure. I want my life to be about something eternal. That's what it means for me to worship.
Look at that. Rolling in the speakers, the subwoofers.
Look at this, friends. This is where we're gonna set up. Let's do it. All right, we set up for the church service at this wedding venue. Jeremy's got his rig going.
Black Squad, what up?
You gotta check him out. He's actually an EDM artist that I listen to all the time, and he put a worship leader at IHOP KC and helps me here with the church. But I'll put the link for his channel below. But this is our little setup right here, and we have a little cross to make sure people know we're not getting married, although we are. There's gonna be a wedding. Can I get an amen?
Lord, this morning we come together as a people, acknowledging who you are and your grandeur. And in spite of our brokenness and weakness and the confusion that we face, Lord, we just surrender to you this morning. We acknowledge your lordship, and we ascribe to you, my Lord, the glory to your name.
The way that we stream, for those of you that are interested, pretty cool system called Sling Studio. If you're a small church like us or a small venue where you need to do some streaming work with multiple cameras, you can use iPhones, like a bunch of Androids or iPhones, connect to the network, and you send multiple cameras. You just gotta have like a place to control the switcher, which is like an iPad works great. And if you have like good cameras, you can buy these little camera links, and like it sends them wirelessly in, because this thing only has one HDMI in, and usually we just run the computer to it directly, but this functions like a router. And that's how we do Sunday morning church. This awesome guy right here is our media guy. He's sporting the Royals. We're gonna tear it down now. Well, that's a wrap. We finished the teardown. Now we're going to go home.
Hey, but I want to play with my friend for just a little bitty. Just for a little bit.
Okay, very little bit, because we're leaving. Go play. Yeah, for this week's vlog, I wanted to kind of share this side of my life. Just kind of a part-time gig, but it's part of my full-time identity as a worshiper in the body of Christ. And so, yeah, it's pretty exciting. This is Pastor Fell. He's the pastor of this church. Say hi to my vlog world.
Hey, Cervantes blog.
People.
People.
Yeah, so anyway, he's awesome. He's been, of course, he's a pastor of this church, and I've learned a lot from him, and there's still more ahead. So, are we good? Are we good to go now? Yeah! See ya. Whoa. Look at you, dude. Little Georgia Tarzan, huh?
John out of the jungle.
George of the jungle.